Hi, everyone, and welcome back to today's episode. I just want to say sorry again for not uploading for this long and for promising that I will upload more episodes and not doing it. So, sorry for that. As you know, it's my first year of college, and I've been pretty busy with assignments, with time management, and basically other things. But as it is my first year, I still have a lot of things to learn. And to be honest, it's a learning curve. It's still a lot of things to learn. It's my first year, and I have to get better at time management for sure. I will definitely try to maybe upload and see if I can do it either once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks so that at least I have a bit more episodes, you know. But thanks for hanging out with me as always and coming here on Tuesday to listen to me. And I still want to apologize and say sorry, but thanks for being patient with me and coming here to listen. So today's episode will be about how this year has shaped me and what kind of lessons that I've learned. To be fair, 2024 is about to end and it is December, so I wanted to make an episode on this month and probably for January as well. So, yeah, 2024 has been quite a year. It has been quite eventful. There has been a lot of good and bad, and I did experience many things that I've never experienced before in my previous years. So, I just want to share the kind of lessons that I've learned throughout this year and how it really made me a different person in a way. I would say I definitely changed. I'm not really the same person that I used to be like years ago. As we grow older and experience more things, we become different and we have a different mindset. So, yeah, I just want to share those with you and let me know what you think. And I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I'm currently 17 right now and I'll be 18 in like maybe a week or so. So I just want to rebrand a little bit this podcast and make it less about me being a teenager because, I am transitioning into another phase of my life and going to college. I'm not in high school anymore. I'm not really in that place. So I want to know what you people think about this, but I want to make it about me being a young woman that is, becoming older. And I want to share my experiences with what college is like and how different it is from high school and middle school and, like my other phases in life. So, yeah, that's what I want to do a little bit with this podcast. And yeah, as I mentioned before, 2024 has been quite the year. I said that it has been both good and bad for me. And to be fair, it has been a year full of lessons. And I'm kind of really excited about the fact that this year is about to end and I'm about to see a new year, become a different person than who I used to be. I think that should be the goal. We should all aim that. We should strive to be different than who we used to be a year ago or 2 years ago. And we should keep the lessons that we've learned in life and we should actually apply them to become better. So, yeah, that's really what I think. And honestly, I'm really glad that this year is about to end because it has been quite the ride. It has been a lot and I've had many lessons as I already mentioned. But yeah, it's just life. We all have lessons. We all have things that we need to learn, things that we have to experience in order to grow as human beings. But yeah, as I already mentioned, 2024 has been a year full of lessons for me, and I experienced many different things that I didn't experience in the previous years, both good and bad. But I'm really glad that this year is about to end because I'm really excited about what the new year has to offer for me, and how many more experiences are there to come, and how I could be a better person. So to keep that in mind, I've had many lessons, but I only wrote down a few important ones that I really think I should let you know. So the first lesson that I've learned is sometimes, no matter how hard you work at something, sometimes failure is inevitable and it can only make you grow forward. Failure is something that we're all gonna experience at some point in our lives, and I really think that it's important to learn to be able to deal with it accordingly and to use that failure to learn from your mistakes and grow. And it's just sometimes we are not going to be good at everything. No matter how much effort you put into something, you might not be able to get to the level that you want. And that's completely fine. That's just how human beings are. We're not always going to be good at everything. And we have to accept that part of ourselves that we're not going to be perfect. And some things might take more time than others do. But yeah, I really think that failure is important if you want to grow as a better person. The second lesson that I've had to learn is it's better to see people for who they are at heart rather than who they could be. Because I think that sometimes we fall into the trap of liking someone's potential rather than just allowing ourselves to really see them for who they are and not just blindly let our fantasy and the potential that we see onto them blind us. I think we've fallen all into this trap where we convince ourselves that someone is a better person than who they truly are, or we just really focus on their good qualities and we ignore the bads because of how this person is a good friend to us or how this person is a good partner to us. So I think it's really important to ignore that potential and just see them for who they are, because the potential that we might see about them is not the same potential that they realize they could be. And I also feel that sometimes people that are close to us in a platonic or romantic way causes us to feel protective of them in some way and hold those people to higher standards. If they do something wrong or something that might break that trust, it makes it unbelievable that they could do anything that could break that trust and that loyalty, which is completely reasonable, because if you think about it, when a friend of us or like a partner of us, someone that we really hold to high standards, they do something that we think they would have never done, that's when we start to realize that the feelings that we might have for this person can make us a little bit blind of the reality, because in truth everyone can do anything. Even a close friend can sometimes break that trust. Even a romantic partner can even break that trust. Everyone can do anything and everyone can easily change. So it's really important to be aware of reality and not just like someone for their potential, but for who they truly are. So that's another big lesson that I've learned. And the third lesson that I've learned is that Sometimes we have to do things outside of our comfort zone that we wouldn't normally do or is somewhat scary to us to actually grow as individuals. At the end of the day, it's all in the mind, it's in our perspective. So, learning how to control your thoughts and fears will make you a really different person than who you used to be. And I think that's really true because I feel that sometimes we tend to be a bit too comfortable with the way things are, and we don't want to try something new or something different. And we just want to stay in that comfort zone because it feels comfortable for us. But if you really want to learn more about yourself and if you want to push your boundaries as a person, it's really important to try to do new things. Push yourself out of your comfort zone and do things that you wouldn't normally do. Push yourself to be different, and that will really make you see yourself for who you are as a person. That's another big lesson that I've learned. And last but not least, the fourth lesson that I've learned is that it is what it is. Sometimes people and situations change all the time, and you have to do nothing but accept it. I feel that sometimes it's hard to fathom in our mind how people can easily change and what causes them to change. Sometimes we might not have that clarity, and we might also have different questions in our mind and be like, oh, why did this person change? Why did this person stop being our friends? What happened? Like, did I do something wrong? Did they do something wrong? Or, we all have had those questions in our minds sometimes. But I think it's really important that we just accept things for what they are. Like I said, it kind of goes back to my second point that we have to see people for who they are rather than who they could be. So, yeah, we just have to accept things as they come. Even this lesson is a hard one for me because I'm an overthinker. I overthink about almost everything. So when one person changes or starts acting differently, it's really hard to phantom that in my mind without having any question. But I think that's something that we should all practice. We should all practice to accept things for what they are rather than always trying to find an answer, because some things just don't have an answer and you won't always have an answer to them. So it's really important to just accept things for what they are rather than always trying to find an answer. So, yeah, that's my fourth lesson, and I hope that you appreciated all those lessons. And the second part of my podcast is about how this year has been memorable for me and what specific moments made it more memorable.